What is going on, Disney fans, and welcome back to another episode of Disney Cuts with your host, as always, K-Mac Time, your one-stop shop for all things Disney, cartoons, video games, and all things nerdy. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you guys can do me a huge favor, hit that like button and make sure you guys are subscribed for more Disney goodness in your sub box. It would be greatly appreciated. But with that out of the way today, guys, I want to take a closer look at a few major changes that Disney has made behind the scenes on some of its biggest and best movies. I mean, who doesn't love getting to know just how different these movies could have been had Disney gone a different direction? So let's jump in with our major change of the week, the crazy story behind the development of Toy Story 2 and how it was almost fully deleted and started over from scratch, not once, but twice.
You idiot. Sheriff, this is no time to panic. This is the perfect time to panic.
Now, as you all know, the original Toy Story was a massive hit. Pixar and Disney were eager for a follow-up of the award-winning film with a sequel as fast as possible, and work began on the follow-up in 1998. Pixar at the time had not been purchased by Disney yet, and was also working on their next upcoming film, A Bug's Life, which would come out later that fall. Believe it or not, the original idea was to make the sequel a direct-to-VHS film handled by a smaller team of Pixar employees, as the rest of the staff was busy working on A Bug's Life. However, that idea was quickly scrapped after the higher-ups realized that Toy Story 2 had massive potential, and they greenlit it for a full theatrical release. Little did they know that insane hardships would come with the development of this movie to get it out on time for the big screen. The first major issue came in late 1998. Oren Jacob, former chief technician officer of Pixar and then assistant technical director for Toy Story 2, has gone on the record recalling the massive mistakes that had led to almost entirely the full movie accidentally being deleted after months of hard work going down the drain, saying, quote, "The command that had been run was most likely RM-R-F star, which roughly speaking in computer terms, this command the system to begin removing every file below that current directory which it was under commanded. This is commonly used to clear out a subset of unwanted files. Unfortunately, on that same system, someone had run the command at the root level of the Toy Story 2 project, and the system was recursively tracking down through the file structure and deleting it like a worm eating its way out of the core of an apple." So essentially what this means, it is a massive mistake that could have derailed the movie completely, costing the studio millions and likely many people their jobs. Of course, Pixar did use a backup storage system in this case of this kind of a catastrophic event, but get this, by some incredibly stroke of bad luck, it too failed, and it only produced about 10% of the missing files that were deleted, and they would not render the files. Thus, the movie was in a complete and utter free fall. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, as if the story, guys, couldn't get any weirder, one employee remembered that she had a separate machine at her home that she had been working on. She had recently had a baby and had been working on home with her own computer workstation set up at her house, and it was loaded with files from a previous build of the movie. So of course they're like, oh my god, she might have a full file of this that had been deleted because it wasn't connected to the network which it was all deleted from. So they actually raced to this employee's house, retrieved the computer, and they were quoted as saying they strapped it in with seatbelts and they drove like 30 miles an hour on the freeway with their hazards on, because the computer, they didn't want to damage it. They didn't want to get in any kind of bump or static electricity on this. Could end up costing hundreds and hundreds of millions because it has the entire Toy Story 2 on it. Months of hundreds of creators of work was all on this computer. Luckily, on this hard drive, there were 70% of the missing files were actually able to be recovered, and it only set the team back a few weeks instead of completely, and not entirely killing the movie. The employee pulled massive overtime, however, going through the files on that drive one at a time to make sure that they were all worked and all rendered. It was estimated there were 70 to 100,000 files that were painstakingly reviewed manually. in a week's time by the staff, who were pulling 100-hour work weeks, no sleep, and working weekends. Absolutely insane amount of effort went into recovering these files, making sure they're all rendered, and making sure that the movie was still on time. And they did an amazing job. But that being said, all of that effort may have been for nothing, as the movie would yet again fall into even more trouble in just the coming months. Just after Christmas of 1998, Disney executives were shown a version of the movie, and they were incredibly displeased by the story the movie had and decided it was time to scrap it entirely. They brought in John Lester, Andrew Stanton, Pete Docter, and the legendary storyman John Raft to essentially rewrite the film from the bottom up. Only the main characters, Buzz, Woody, Ham, Potato Head, Rex, and the Andy's room model and the Al's Toy Barn sequence are all that remain from the original script of the movie. It is nearly everything else you see in the film that is brand new. One of the animators for the film was quoted as saying, "Effectively, all animation was tossed. Effectively, all layout was tossed. So all camera work started from scratch. Lighting in the film was in a little bit, but it was tossed as well. We had to build new characters, including Buster the Dogs, whose animation showed up at the point, and had a character went from being outside of the screenplay to in the final screen in 9 months. It had to be fully animated." He also goes on to talk about the opening sequence, the scene where we see Buzz and all these millions of robots and all this crazy stuff going on. It turns out to be just a video game, but that was not even in the script. That was effectively written in after December, and then it came out that following summer, so it had to be written, animated, and all of that voiced in just 9 months. The entire movie was completely overhauled from the ground up, and it was just a huge undertaking by the staff of the movie, who had already had that hard release date of November 22nd, 1999. And backing out from that and delaying the movie would cost millions and millions, as they had already completely done their advertising campaigns that had all this, promotional stuff that had the date on it. It was set in stone. They could not miss this date, but they essentially had to remake the movie from the ground up completely in 9 months for a second time. And as we all know, Pixar was able to pull it off at what seemed like an impossible task and released Toy Story 2 on time. And of course, it is one of the most highly rated and best regarded animated films of all time. It's absolutely mind-blowing the journey that this team went on, not once but twice, to from losing the files of months of work and having to go on this mad scramble to try and find these, and then recovering them one at a time through 100,000 individual files, and then seeing it, them come in and say it's not good enough, completely redo it, and then having to redo it from the bottom up in just 9 months is something that many studios just could not do, and it's a testament to the quality of employees and their dedication and hard work to get out the best quality product they possibly can over at Pixar, and that's why they are the absolute best and my favorite studio of all time. And the movie would go on to gross over $500 million and set the groundwork for Toy Story 3 and then Toy Story 4 coming out very soon. And I'm just so grateful that those workers were able to get that done and make the best possible movie. They did an amazing job. And it's crazy to think, but Toy Story as we know it very easily could have fallen apart. I mean, think about it. Pixar, along with their investment on this film, could have been wasted, and the movie could have been delayed, or it could have been properly, not properly made due to time crunches, and they could have rushed this film out. They could have done it, poorly. And thank God that they pulled it off and they made the best movie they could possibly make. And I cannot wait to see what Pixar has in store for us for Toy Story 4. The rumors coming out about the cast right now doing the voice work and it being some of the best stuff they've ever done is blowing my mind. I cannot wait to finally see the final product. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you guys did, like I said, do me a massive favor. Smash that like button. Let's see if we can get this video to 500 likes. It'd be greatly appreciated if we can. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Disney content in your sub boxes daily. Also, be sure to check out my previous episodes of Disney Cuts, where I go in depth on the first Toy Story and why it was almost a much darker and scarier movie. But until next time, guys, remember that it's always K-Mac time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out. Oh, and one last thing. Special thank you to my awesome Patreon supporters, Ava, AJ, and Travis, for their continued support of the channel and all the love that they share. Love hanging out with you guys. Love chatting with you guys over on Patreon and on Discord. I'll be getting your personal thank you gifts sent out to you guys as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much. I could not do this without your guys' support. Also, if you guys are interested in checking out the Patreon page, if you guys haven't seen it already, there's a link in the description down below. You get early access to videos. You get to chat with me one-on-one. You can have your name featured in all the videos. All that will be there in the description. You can check that out if you guys are interested. If not, it's also cool. Like I said, though, guys, until next time, take it easy and peace out.
Hey, but with that out of the way, guys, let's jump right in.
Ninja.